Wait for me to share screen. Share with audio. Okay, here we go. Can you hear the music?
Hear it.
Okay. Cameron?
Well, welcome everybody to the first edition of the Fantasy Football League podcast. Here with Gabe. We're just gonna delve into the league a little bit here.
Yep. Thanks, Cam. Jonathan Schrader, here to present. We should be having another league member who's slacking joining us here in a second. But I guess today we're just going to walk through the draft, maybe some predictions, some top threes, maybe the bottom threes that could be relegated.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you feel about your team before we get started?
I feel okay. It may or may not be on the good list or the bad list here coming up. So,
Okay.
Well, we'll see. I don't want to reveal too much.
Okay.
But definitely, the season is young. A lot of things will still change, but we'll see what happens.
It's okay. I feel like my team. I feel like this is and I haven't said this in a while. This is one of the best teams I've ever drafted. I feel really good about this team. And I don't know why I get so much hate. That's the one thing I want to address right now. I get a lot of hate from power rankings every year. I always get mid-tier. And the comments are like, oh, he has a pretty solid team, but let's see how he does. I'm not calling anybody out. I just want to put that out there. But well, I guess let's dive in on some teams. Let's start with maybe before Madison gets in here, your top three. And then your bottom three, and then I'll go to my top three and our bottom three, and then we'll just kind of go through the teams, and we'll see what Madison thinks as he joins in.
Gotcha. Well, my top three teams, to kick it off, my first choice is actually Jared Balthus.
Oh, okay. The gambler. All right. What?
So,
we'll sneak peek at.
He's got a solid team here. Mainly stemming around somebody I was looking at as potentially a number one overall pick in Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
I think he has potential to be by far the best quarterback of the league. Rushing touchdown potential is huge. They do that 1 yard line Eagles push that ends up working out so often for them. Jamar Chase, huge potential. Debo could have another blow up season. He was formerly, I think, a number one wide receiver already. Gabe Davis, a little iffy. I think Jahmyr Gibbs and Kenneth Walker are two young studs potentially. Darren Waller poised for another breakout season. He's got massive potential. He's got a great young cast. Zay Flowers, Tank Bigsby, Jalen Warren. If he ever gets the chance, he's done big things. Antonio Gibson. He's in a 1A, 1B situation with B-Rob in Washington. Then Marvin Mims. So, I mean, that's an average of rookies on his bench.
So it's funny because Jared was my number one on my top as well, which is surprising because I really like his team. I think it's really well-rounded. I'm a big advocate for quarterbacks. I feel like anyone who gets stuck without a quarterback, it's a miserable experience. Madison is messaging me. He's wrapping up his salad, then joining. Good for priorities. But I feel like it's a really, really well-rounded to have a quarterback. I don't think he drafted. That was his second pick after Jamar? Okay.
I think it was actually his third round.
Third. He went Jamar, and then he go Kenneth Walker second, and then third was Hurts.
We can do the research real quick.
Yeah, look that up. But while you're doing that, so I really like Jalen Hurts. I think Jamar Chase. I'm not huge on Jamar as much this year. I think he's a super solid pickup. I think he was a little high. I think people saw him drafting number one over number two overall. I think it's so dependent on really how good the Bengals do. And if the Bengals continue to be as good as they were, I think that's one thing. He's also healthy this year. I know T. Higgins is there and Boyd is there. I don't know how much Higgins – that's why I didn't draft Higgins because I feel like he didn't go a ton of Higgins. He still kind of just forced Jamar every time. And then you got the annoying Burrow QB sneak, which Uncle Joe loves. So it takes some points away. Then you got Debo, who's throwing freaking touchdowns and getting random points that way, and running the ball from Christian McCaffrey, which I'm sure who is, I think Matt Bowser has Christian McCaffrey. He's going to hate that. Gabe Davis. So we'll talk about this a little bit more, but Buffalo is on my down year this year. Yeah. I think their team is like falling apart. I'm not big on Josh Allen this year. I really think Buffalo's not going to do well this year, but I could be wrong. It's speculation. Big on Gibbs. Who's starting though? He's not starting, right? He's not.
It's up in the air. I think he's in a committee with Montgomery.
Okay. That's risky for starting running back. I guess he has the Gibson, which is also up in the air. So, and I think Tank gives. Yeah, so he potentially this could screw him. Is the one thing that could screw him, but it's a risky move. He was big on Kenneth Walker. I had a lot of people who were saying Kenneth Walker is not going to do as good this year. It was kind of a fluke thing because he came in there midseason and kind of popped off. So I don't know. I'm not big on him either. But I think this was a great pick, Darren Waller. Dude's been injured like crazy. No one really knows how good this guy can be. I think he's going to be really good if he stays healthy. And then my other really pick that I really liked was the Jaylen Warren. I really like that potential. And then Zay Flowers, because, I'm obviously a big Baltimore for some reason. I don't know why, but I think they actually have wide receivers this year, and they're going to be able to spread out. And the fact that if this guy can kind of get some connecting with Lamar, there's going to be a lot of like wide receiver 2 potential. I don't think OBJ is going to be that dude. I know I picked him up, but I think we're looking at like him, Mark Andrews, and who's the third, the main guy that just got healthy again, that's been injured. You know what I mean? From Baltimore. But yeah, I really liked his team. And then Dallas defense, solid. It's like you can never go wrong with Dallas defense. I feel like that's always a pretty solid pickup, especially in our league. I've ran the Dallas defense many years, and they pop off. So really like his team. I know I kind of said the same things that you did, but I just wanted to agree with that point. But okay, who was your number 2?
So my number 2 top team. I know this guy gets a lot of love every year, and people hate it, but it's actually Bowser.
Okay, let me hear why.
Yeah. So first of all, Herbert, I think, is poised for a breakout season. I know he was on everybody's list out there, but that was a guy I was really eyeing. I think Devontae has shown that no matter who his quarterback is, he's going to be really solid. Terry, if he's healthy, always a boss. Big Mike, I think he will be hurt this year, but the stack will be nice. I think McCaffrey, he's the top, running back in the league currently, potentially the top guy overall. Hard to miss there. Then Mixon, people were sleeping on, I think. I know he was the bane of Dan's existence some years, but truly, I think he could still be a top 5 guy. I mean, he was a top 5 guy. Schultz, sure. I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen in Houston, but I think he'll be down in a lot of games. He'll be having to throw. And then moving down, Baltimore defense is solid. I like his bench going on here. I think Rachaad White has potential to be big. Geno was the 5th overall quarterback last year. Juju's a little bit random, and then Mingo, Bowser has to go NFC South. So that's the quality NFC South pick there.
Okay. So I want to say a couple things, and I don't mean to sigh at Bowser because I dislike Bowser by any means, but Bowser always gets overhyped every season and does not perform every season. And I know why it happens to Bowser, because Bowser cannot lack favoritism on his team and his players in his fantasy world. He does not know how to disconnect. And I do the same thing, and I had a realization after I've been screwed by the Colts too many times to say, hey, I have to stop drafting them. Because look at this team. We got the Christian McCaffrey, which is the classic Bowser move. If he can get him, he's going to go for him. I'm not saying it's a bad move, but then you have another Carolina player and a couple players that he goes to. I don't know about Justin Herbert. I feel like it's a super risky pick. And then Scary Terry, I think he's a solid pickup, but you have that rookie that's coming that could take away from him. And just like Dan has been, I've been screwed by Joe Mixon so many times, but he did get him at a value pick. So it's like, I don't think he went as high. I mean, I don't even know when he got drafted. Can we, if we click on him?
Third round, 28th overall.
Okay. Yeah, I've been screwed by Joe Mixon so many times. And like I said earlier, Joe Burrow QB sneaking is like the most annoying thing with Mixon. And Mixon is due every year for that like freaking 4-week injury every year. And if you could like people like Jared, who will draft the backup randomly for them and go into like he had Giovanni Bernard like twice back to back because it happened. You saw P. Ryan popped off last time because it happened. So if I was him, I'd probably pick up the back for I don't even know who that is this for Cincinnati. But yeah, he's due for an injury every year. But besides that, he went big on the Chargers this year. So if they do have the breakout season like you're saying, could see it be really good. I feel like that's a pretty hard division to be honest though. So
Yeah,
I think Juju will be good if they can figure out their crap in New England. That might be like a potential pick. I don't think he's as washed as everyone thinks he is. And then White's good potential. And I really do like Christian Kirk. I don't know why there's a lot of slander on the Christian Kirk, but I think Jacksonville will be pretty solid this year. They're due to beat Indy up pretty bad. I bet they'll probably beat us our first game. That's just how things go. But yeah, not my top three, not my bottom three, but I think it's a pretty solid team. I could see why you would go that way. All right, well, hit me with number 3.
All right. Number 3 top team is, here's the thing, guys. Every year we all hate, and every year this guy is magic. It's Lorenz.
Oh, Lorenzo.
The amount of
Okay, I'm
hate
really
I've seen
interested.
on this team, I'm actually pretty shocked at.
Okay.
So like, we'll pull up his draft. It was a little bit scary, a little bit crazy. But Tony Pollard, 3rd overall pick, 1st round, seems insane. But I can't tell you how many fantasy experts I've heard that that's their dude this year. They probably wouldn't have reached for him there, but if he works out, I mean, he'll be the one laughing. And then Josh Allen, maybe he has a down year, but if he does a standard Josh Allen thing, he's going to be huge. T. Higgins, who knows? DJ Moore has potential to be big. I think Brees, as a guy who had him last year up until his injury, he was a monster. If he is even remotely as good as he was during his rookie year before he got hurt, the dude's going to be nuts to watch. Chris Godwin right now, super solid with Evans having some issues nearing retirement. San Francisco defense is a monster. Justin Tucker is a beast. And then Evan Ingram's a solid tight end. I think Rashee Rice could end up being a baller, especially if we have a hurt on and off Travis Kelce. Burks, who knows? And then his boy was Donta Foreman last year. I mean, he's in that grouping of running backs, so we'll see. And then Chuba, I think, was just a love pick, and I don't know what he's doing with Michael Gallup. But his starting crew is really solid and should be scary.
His starting crew is solid. His bench is like has no depth. It's a lot of risk. If he gets an injury, it could be really bad. Listen, I think Pollard's a beast. I don't think you can go wrong with that. But Breece Hall, the whole Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall situation is really scary. That's why I probably wouldn't go him. I think his wide receivers are solid. Like I think he all has like I don't think there's like a huge standout person. Potentially DJ Moore if they can connect and they pop off like they did, but I don't think Higgins is going to pop off that much as a person who had Higgins like midseason. Godwin, I don't know what's going on with Tampa Bay. Like I don't even know if they're going to be solid, but overall it's pretty solid. I just think the bench scares me. I like the Justin Tucker pick. You can never go wrong. Although he started to miss towards the end of the season. I don't know if you caught that. He started to miss. And then San Francisco D is really solid. So interesting pick. Okay. So that's your top 3. So you went from the top, Jared, Bowser, and then Matt. Okay. Yep. Let me hit you with my remaining top 2 because Jared was my top 1. I went second on, and you're going to hate this, the Angel. I went big on the Angel because I think he has a lot of upside potential on a couple players here. I really like the late Tua pick. I think Tua just slings them. Like it's kind of like Ben Roethlisberger. What was it, like 5 years ago, where he was just like either he's going to throw 3 interceptions or he's going to throw like 300, 400 yards. Like he just slings them. So it's a great fantasy potential. Garrett Wilson is going to be like really good. I think he's going to be one of the top wide receivers. I've never been a big Drake London guy, but I understand like he can be pretty solid. Here's your boy. Everyone's really big on him. It will really depend on how good your team kind of goes. Eckler, obviously, really solid pick. You can't go wrong with that. This is probably my least favorite pick is the Aaron Jones. I don't think he picked him up super soon, but like I think you had Aaron Jones a couple times, or have had Aaron Jones at one point. Maybe not in this league. I've had Aaron Jones. Wasn't like he did good his first season, and I feel like he's kind of just never gotten back to that. And then I think Hawkinson, like that mid-year transfer didn't really do much, but I think now he kind of knows what he's doing. I think he's going to pop off. Like if him and Kirk can connect, especially if the pressure's on your boy, on Justin Jefferson, and he's just kind of there in the end zone. That's going to be frustrating for whoever has Justin Jefferson when they start actually connecting like that. Javonte Williams, as long as he's healthy, he should be pretty solid. I don't know about McKinnon because he's like they're between like 3 right now.
He had a little stretch last year at the end where he was solid, but I think he'll end up dropping him before all said and done.
I don't know about I don't know this player at all.
Jackson Smith is their rookie wide receiver.
Okay.
And I think they're kind of thinking he's poised to take the place of Lockett whenever Lockett ages out.
Okay. And then I'm not mad at the Kadarius Toney pick. He kind of screwed me last year. That's the thing about Mahomes, though, is like everyone knows this. He can really throw to anyone. Like obviously Kelsey, he's going to connect, but like who knows who his wide receiver one's going to be in the year? Like really, you don't know, and it's super frustrating. It's hard to predict that. So if you can predict it, you can do really well. But yeah, I think his team is pretty solid, even in bench wise. There's some good depth there. Like I said, I really like the Hawkinson. I really like Garrett Wilson, and I like 2. I think 2 is a great value pick. So that was my number 2. My number 3, and I want to say, if I could pick myself, I would have. I really think my team is great. I don't know why I'm not in the top 3 consideration, but I want to talk about that. Well. Welcome into the pod. We've already gotten started.
All right. Well, I'm glad the pre-show's done, and now we can start the main event.
Well, let me recap for you what we've got going so far. So Cam went through his top 3. I went through my top 3, but I want to hear before we go into players, just your top 3 before we even jump into it. And I want to see how aligned you are with us so far.
And this is top 3 drafts.
Yes, like what team? Top 3 teams drafted that you like the most.
Okay, so obviously I want to pick myself, but I don't feel that great about you. I'm the guy who always toots his own horn.
Yeah.
I'm in a different place than I was a few days ago. The Jonathan Taylor thing has made me question my own draft skills, and that might have been a critical mistake. So I'm gonna look at it like trying to just see who has the best overall looking roster going forward. And I'm gonna go with number 1, Matt Lorenz.
Yeah. Wow!
He was
Are you kidding me?
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he has 2 running backs who realistically are like on the younger side. You've got Breece Hall, Tony Pollard. They're on the younger side. Josh Allen, who's like, he's constantly hearing the Patrick Mahomes comparisons. The dude's gonna like rock it up. I mean, like, he's got 3 stud receivers. The receivers could be a little weak. Like, none of them are like slam dunks, but like
the bench is my issue. Because this was Cam's number 3.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, and look, you could talk me down off of 1, but like, I mean, a lot of running backs this year are kind of on that like older side of the hill. But Tony Pollard, dude's in his prime. Breece Hall.
What about Dalvin Cook?
Doesn't get vultured by Dalvin Cook. I mean, like, that could be a stuff 1-2 punch.
I don't see Dalvin being a problem.
A real threat.
At the midway point.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to harp on this because we talked about his team for a long time. Who's your number 2?
Okay. My number 2. Go back to the league view here.
I can click on somebody if you want to double check.
My number 2, All right. I'm going to go with Corey.
No.
At draft time, Corey is trying to ruin a perfectly good auto draft. Okay?
Oh, I got the wrong guy.
Auto draft can be your best friend because, look, we like these guys in this league, they try to overthink this whole thing, right? And I'm telling you, Corey is trying to back out of a perfectly good auto draft. Auto draft is not the problem because auto draft is going to slowly proceed through the thing. Look, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was a rookie last year, right? Rookie tight end, second year. This is what, third year? Okay, so rookie tight ends never pan out. The further you get from that rookie year with tight ends, they seem to like get better with the league. So my thought is like, look, I hate Kyle Pitts more than anyone, but if Kyle Pitts hits, this
such a gambler way to think of it.
If Daniel Jones hits, everyone's saying Daniel Jones is like that like late round sleeper. If Daniel Jones hits, Kyle Pitts hits, like
he has two wide receivers. You can't go both Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. It's not going to work.
Why not? Why not though?
Because it's one or the other. One person gets like 200 yards and one doesn't, and one gets like 2 touchdowns. It's every other game. You can't go both. CeeDee Lamb, I'm not mad at.
He trades
Dobbins hasn't been healthy in how long? When's the last time Dobbins can run like 50 yards without wincing?
Okay, but look, that is a transformed team in Baltimore. Baltimore is going to be a fantasy treasure.
Listen, I'm big on Baltimore. It's not Baltimore, it's Dobbins. He picked Daniel Jones like last. That's like a good that's a good value pick. It's not your starter. He's got Kyler Murray as the backup.
I'll be honest, I don't love Miles Sanders either. I think Miles Sanders is like kind of an RBBC guy. I don't know, like I might even start Mostert in there. It's the running backs are a little rough there. So, you know, but I'm telling you, like Corey, like in fantasy, right? When people zig, you zag. This is the zag roster. This is the roster of people that like aren't supposed to work. You know, like everyone hates on Kyle Pitts. Everyone's fading Kyle Pitts. Everyone says Kyle Pitts sucks, including me. Like I hate Kyle Pitts. That guy can you know, I can't stand that guy. But like he's like in theory he should hit at some point, right?
In theory.
I mean, like
interesting.
Daniel Jones hits like these could, you know, and I'm not saying that like this is the roster that like you would dream of, but when people zig, you zag, you know?
Okay. Well, that was my first bottom 3. I just want to throw out that. Kim, was he on your bottom 3?
It's fair.
He was fair. my worst.
Yeah, he was my worst team by far. And I think we both agree because one, he doubled up on Miami. I keep going back to the wrong team. Sorry. He doubled up on Miami. Daniel Jones, I think, is fine. I don't think Dobbins is it. I don't like either of his running backs. I don't think they're awful.
Running back is a little weak. The running back's a little weak.
And your theory of the zig, what is it? First you zig, then you zag on the Kyle Pitts?
Zag, man. When they zig, you zag.
I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I'm not. Interesting. That's your number 2.
Love Greg Joseph as a kicker, kicking in the dome with a high-scoring offense. Like that offense is prolific.
It's solid. It's solid. What about like Washington defense?
The best pick he has right now is the Washington defense, and it's only good for week 1 against Arizona.
Look, this league, man, yeah, that's gonna be a 40-point week right there. It's gonna dominate week 1. All right, well, my third on the top 3, and I maybe should put this one a little higher. Maybe this one goes above Corey. I could be talking.
Okay.
Gaby, baby.
Let's go. Let's go.
Look at the roster, man. Look at the actual roster. Go
look at this team.
Roster. This roster. Team. Like, okay. Lamar, if rumors are to be believed that Baltimore is actually the better improved team, Lamar, I mean, like you're not going to get 16, 17 weeks out of Lamar, but you're going to get 12, right?
What does Uncle Joe say? The first 2 weeks, 40 points?
Look, you don't care my theory is you don't care if he blows an ankle in week 4, as long as he's back by the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Like Lamar, you take that injury early, whatever, you've got Amon-Ra, okay? That's a stud wide receiver 1 on a crummy team that's going to be playing behind a lot. Like, You've got DeAndre Hopkins as your wide receiver 3, which is like, I mean, like there's still like receptions there to be had. Bijan Robinson, Alexander Madison, those two could be a stacked RB lineup. Holy, like you don't know where those two are going to take you. So if Bijan's a bust, you're kind of screwed. But if Bijan's worth the hype,
it was a risky move.
Yeah. And same with Alexander Madison. Like he looks good whenever he's been in a starting position. You know, when he's been like that backfill for Dalvin Cook. But I mean, we'll see what happens with those two. But like that's a solid 1-2 punch at running back. That's about as good as you're gonna get around right now. And then like you've got Ezekiel Elliott in New England. Don't sleep on that pick either, man. Like New England knows how to game plan around your running backs. They're like the opposite of Dallas. Dallas like didn't know what to do once Zeke lost a step. They were like, well, I guess we have to run him on first down. What else do you do? Like they didn't know how to like adjust. I think New England can come in and really use his skills in a way that's a really solid 1-2 punch with Ramondre Stevenson, who's also an excellent running back. So I think you're going to see like an uptick in value with Ezekiel. I don't know if you're going to be starting him week in and week out, but like he's probably a pretty good RB3 to hang on to with just knowing how New England game plans around stuff. OBJ, same thing. Like OBJ, there's some value in there potentially, man. Like Hollywood Brown, yeah. But like you look at your roster. If you're gonna be like top of the league, bottom of the league. I like where this is going.
I'll say two things about my team because I don't want to be that guy. But one, as someone who had Stevenson, I think Stevenson's a super solid running back, but he's like kind of that. It was almost like back in the day with the Chubb and Hunt, where Chubb just could like do all the work and couldn't get in the end zone, and then just put Hunt in and he just go in there. I'm hoping that's like a Zeke situation, and he just kind of piles in and gets like the points if I needed that. And then, bro, I think people are sleeping on Williams. Wasn't he like one of the highest scoring fantasy scores for running backs just because he kind of just, I don't know, he just had something in there, and he's going to be back in there for Kamara for a while, and Kamara's due for an injury.
Yeah, but look at the team, though. It's New Orleans. You know who New Orleans likes to punch in at the goal line?
Taysom Hill, baby. Taysom Hill, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. It's true.
Yeah, but it's like there's talent still to be had there if he can stay healthy.
It's a risky bench. I think that's what people's biggest criticism is. It's a riskier bench, but I think if Bijan works out, it's a solid team. And then I think Hopkins, dude came in on the freaking Arizona, which is like arguably one of the worst teams ever last year, and was still catching some crazy catches. And I think he's still got something left in the tank.
So you know how I said with Corey,
running team showed that they can support a wide receiver 1 with AJ Brown. So
it's true. What did you say, Matt? What were you saying, Matt?
You know how I said with Corey, like when they zig, you zag. This is a zig roster. This is an all like.
This is a zag roster.
No, this is a zig roster. This is like is a chalk. Like you stocked up on guys who are like has-beens on new teams. OBJ, Zeke, Jamal Williams, Dalvin Cook, Marquise Brown. All 5 of those are guys who like have real potential, but kind of like tailed off. Now they're on new teams.
It's true.
There's
a lot of potential.
To me, though, that I'd rather go that route. Give me this roster rather than like some others, because I think there's a lot of like high quality points to be had here, I think.
Okay. Well, this transitions well because you are my number 3. So this works out well and I'll tell you why you're my number 3.
Let's go.
I am big on the Jags this year. I think Trevor Lawrence like kind of came into his own last year. I think he's going to like even harbor in even more. You can't go wrong with Justin Jefferson, like safest pick out there. He's going to get you what you need, exactly what you need, as long as he stays healthy. Bro, Tyler Lockett, not a bad pick either. I had him. Like he's good for his, every, 1-2 touchdowns. I don't know about Mike Evans. That was the only one where I'm like questionable. I don't really know what Tampa Bay's doing this year. DEJ, baby. He's solid, man. There was a whole mix-up with like the double back, and I think that caused some confusion, but I think he'll kind of get into his boots. I think the James Cook was risky, but like there's a lot of potential payoff if they actually do like stick with their running game. And I hate you so much. Dude, I love Njoku. like he's one of my favorite tight ends. Dude is a freaking monster. I cannot believe you snagged him. You snagged him and Bateman when I really wanted him, but I think Njoku is super solid. The thing is, Watson and him weren't really connecting. I mean, Watson wasn't really connecting with anyone, but if him and Watson connect, dude, he's actually really solid. You got Deion Jackson, who's definitely going to be the starter, unfortunately for you, with the whole Jonathan Taylor situation, but he's not like awful. I don't know what you're doing with Dak. I don't think he even deserves a bench spot. But
that was to screw Dan.
Oh, okay.
That's to screw Dan week 1, so that
Yeah.
We'll get to his roster in a few minutes. We'll get to the bottom 3. Don't worry.
Like, even with the JT situation, I feel like your team overall is pretty solid. Like, I know the James Cook is the riskiest thing. Like, this might be your biggest issue. And then, like, who is your back after that? Dion? I mean, it's okay.
Yeah. It's going in on the Colts one way or the other, which is not a great feeling.
No, it's not. Trust me, I'm aware. Yeah, I like it. I really do. I think you're a good number. I think you're pretty solid.
What's your guys' take on the JT thing? Like what's the thought on that?
I mean, if he plays, he's great.
So I'll say one thing. I'll say one thing about JT. Dude has had like a consistent ankle thing for a while. That's why I think it's such a money grab thing. Like, he wants to get locked into some type of contract because I don't think he hasn't had a healthy ankle for like the past 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. His ankle thing has been bugging him, so I think it was a money grab thing. And I think that's when the Colts were like, hey, anybody who wants to come and give him what he's asking for can have him. And no one was willing to give him what he's asking for. Mm-hmm. I think he sits, dude, like the whole year, honestly.
All right, let's get on to these bottom teams.
Okay. All right. So who you heard one of my bottoms? Do you want to hear my other 2? Knock them out real quick, because Corey was on yours too, right?
Yeah.
So he was our top 2. Who did you? So
in the auto draft.
I'll tell you, Cam, and I hate this is gonna be awkward. You're my number 2, and I can explain why this is awkward. And I was like, should I change it? But I have a couple reasons, and I'll go through it quickly. I'll tell you why. All right. I'm not mad at I'm not like impressed with Jared Goff. I'm not mad at it. And I really am down on Buffalo this year. Like, I don't know what's going on with Diggs and Allen. Like, there's the chemistry. Not Diggs. Oh, sorry. I'm Buffalo overall. Diggs will be relatively solid. AJ Brown will be solid. I'm not mad at Brandon Ayuk, and then I told you I'm not huge on your running backs. Mm-hmm. Like, I really don't like your running backs. I think you're going to get some stuff stolen here, and then I don't even know if Herbert, like, he could lose to Foreman potentially in this role. Like, there's a lot of potential there. And then you went back on what you hated so much after all the things that you've done with Mark Andrews. You went back to him. You went with Anthony Richardson, which I hate you for it, but I think it's a good potential. I think it could probably be better than Goff if he's really dedicated. I don't know how much you kept up with him. Brian Robinson, like, I get why you wanted to do it, just the Washington, and because the dude's a monster, like, literally gets shot and comes back to the NFL. Like, there's some respect there. And then I do like Kincaid. I heard good things about him. If Buffalo just doesn't use their tight ends efficiently, though, much at all. And then not bad at Elliott in New York, but overall, I think your 2 running backs could potentially screw you. Your wide receiver core is pretty solid. I'm not big on Buffalo, and then Goff is not amazing either. But that's just my opinion. You could do better. I'm just not like super impressed with your team. I think it's like more of a solid, like, I think you played it safe this year than you typically do. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there, but what do you think, Madison, about his team?
It's gonna be in my bottom 3.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. Look, it's not the bottomest of the 3, but it's the number 3 of the bottom, because, like, I agree. Mark Andrews, like, what do you look at to Mark Andrews? I mean, Mark Andrews is the second best tight end in football. That's great. I'm not going to dispute you on that, but, like, there's more competition for targets, and, like, he's just getting older, and he's an injury question mark, and the tight end position is just such a like desert outside of Travis Kelce, who's also hurt. Like and you have a lot of draft capital tied up in him, and Ramondre, I hope it works out, but you got Jared Goff, like it makes me nervous.
So in my defense, but also in y'all's defense, I did have myself in the bottom 3 as well. I think it stems around the quarterback. So
okay.
I got caught on the wrong end of a quarterback run, and I think that was the big move. There was
you panicked and grabbed
Derek had reached for Justin Fields, to which I thought, okay, surely everybody else will just be patient, and then they all went. And at that point, it was Danny Dimes or wait, and I chose to wait. So, but yeah, my heart told me to go. No, that's all right. My heart was telling me to go and take Jalen Hurts first overall and stack with AJ Brown, and I should have done that. But last year, my heart told me to pick Justin Jefferson, and he was a monster. So I should have stuck with my heart again, but I didn't. I went with the head. So I do think there is some weakness in the running back room, but I think I'll find somebody between those two guys, B-Rob and Charbonnet. I think there's potential for at least one solid starter there.
Your running back depth is good for sure.
I'm looking to finish hopefully top half. If bottom half happens, just as long as it's not relegation, I'll take it. It's one of those years. Sometimes you can't be there, but
and Stafford's not here to bail you out this year with some BS trade where you miracle trade.
Yeah.
So you can kiss that goodbye.
But yeah, and I'll hit y'all with my third okay. Since I had myself out there. Third bottom one, it's Uncle Joe, man.
Oh, because of the injury, or just because before the injury?
Really?
I just don't like the his lineup. Team. I think it's okay. I think here's where my big hits are. I don't like his wide receivers. I think Metcalf is great, but I think everybody's assuming he's going to be awesome because of the way he looks and not the way he actually plays.
Fair.
I think Pittman has got to prove it this year, and he's got a bad O-line and a running quarterback.
Rookie running quarterback.
Yeah. I think Michael Thomas, I mean, what are we expecting out of New Orleans right now? And Derrick Henry, at any point, we're waiting for him to go down.
There's just no way he's good again, right? There's just no way. I mean, I say that every year. There's just like, I don't know.
James Conner, sure. He's got Travis Kelce who's hurt right now. So he's filling in with a guy who's poised to be replaced by their rookie pick. I mean, my favorite thing about his team is Dicker the kicker.
Yeah. And Knox could be replaced by Kincaid because they're really big on him. Yeah. Judy's hurt. Kelsey's hurt. Not a bad idea. I like the Pirine pick actually. Potential.
Yeah, but that's an RB3. Like that's not exactly what you want to hang your hat on.
That's like if you needed it. And then Travis Kelce getting injured on top of it. I mean, I guess that would have replaced the Dawson Knox. So maybe he just picked up Dawson Knox, but that might be. I mean, anytime you have to say, "Oh, their ACL is still intact," it's never a good sign. Like their ACL is intact, guys. Yeah. Don't worry. Like, you know what I mean? And listen, I have Kelce in my other league. I feel you. Like I went the Kelce Mahomes stack in another league, and I feel you. It sucks, but it's the game, man. So I agree. Not an amazing. Like I don't think this is Uncle Joe's year at all. To agree with you. So that was your three. So you went Corey. You went Corey. Yourself, then Uncle Joe, or you do put yourself above Uncle Joe?
I'm in the middle. So I would say Corey's the worst. Me in the middle. Uncle Joe third. Okay. He's not terrible, but he's not great. Okay.
And I went. I think I'm trying to remember. I went Corey, you. And then my last, and then I'll go to Madison. My last person, D'Angelo Jones. And I'll tell you why. Okay. So Cup is like out, right? Now officially now? For how long is that?
At least a game. One game for sure.
Okay. So first off, Deshaun Watson is like the most risky pick, I feel like. I don't understand why everyone keeps going like so big on Deshaun. And I know Dan's into massages and stuff like that, so maybe that's the way he went. I don't know. Calvin Ridley, like, I don't know how many years we're going to keep going with him. I don't mind the Christian Watson. Cortland Sutton. I mean, what are we trying to do here? I guess because Judy's like.
Look, there'll be 1 week where he gets 4 touchdowns, and everyone will like freak out, and then drop off again.
Literally the worst offense in the NFL last season.
Yeah.
So Chubb is like another Henry. Is like, can he continue to be this monster every year? I'm gonna say no. I think the clock is like ticking. I know he's not like super old, but it's just like eventually, right? I mean, maybe I'm wrong. And like, I think we got to start going for some like fresher people. I like Dameon Pierce. That's someone that I like. I know he went kind of high, but he was a monster. I like just watching him play. He was really good. And then
George Kittle has grown this year.
Like, what is up with Kittle? He had that one monster year and just never got back to what he was. And then he's always stayed high. It doesn't matter how bad he does, how little points he puts up, he always stays high. And then, with the Cup pick, which went super far down, mind you, but maybe everyone had seen the injuries I've written on the wall with Cup. He's so injury prone. He went really low. And then, I mean, I guess I actually really like the Aaron Rodgers back. I think it might be like a Brady situation with him in the Jets. I think his Jets offense, I think the Jets offense is going to be like Brady when he came to Tampa Bay. I think it's going to be like that, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah.
I mean, he's a 40-year-old quarterback, and I think we got a little used to 40-year-old than they should be. I want everybody to know, to be a 40-year-old quarterback and be proficient is not common.
Look at Camp talking good about Brady. Oh, look at that. It's Desiree rubbing off on him. How about
there
that?
You go. So yeah, he's my bottom. He's my third. So I'll go back and then we can go to Madison. We can hit you with your 3, and we'll end it. And anyone we haven't talked about, we'll go through before we end.
Yeah, I mean, we can stay on Dan because Dan's my bottom. I mean, Dan is the bottom of the bottom. I know
the 3?
He's a personal rival. Yeah, he's like Deshaun. Like he waited on QB and waited on QB and waited on. Like I get it, you want to wait on QB, but this league is driven in larger success in this league is driven on QB points. There's just too much of a disparity in QB points. You have to have a decent QB to win most weeks unless your roster is stacked top to bottom elsewhere. And Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers, find me two quarterbacks in the league that have bigger question marks surrounding them about like what they can actually do in their offense. Like maybe they're good, maybe not. Nick Chubb, I actually like the Nick Chubb pick. I would have picked Nick Chubb if he was sitting there at a decent pick for me, because I would have said, look, Kareem Hunt's out now, and so you've got more of like a clear path to like not vulturing touchdowns and stuff. But again, yeah, it's the Derrick Henry thing. George Kittle is just glass bones, like just total glass bones. And yeah, I understand the picks. But like QB, man, QB was one of those things where like I feel like so many people had QB as a priority this year. People were diving for QBs. I mean, I wanted a QB with my 2nd round pick, and I didn't get one because people were diving for them. And so like you had to scoop one up when you could. And Deshaun Watson, it really lives or dies on the Deshaun Watson thing, right? Like Deshaun Watson's amazing. Dan's gonna be good. If not, it's gonna be a rough first few weeks. For sure.
I'll tell you what Dan's going to do, though. He's going to sit on his fab, even though his team is going like 0-4, and then he's going to get some like super good running back or wide receiver with like 60 fab because he's the only one with fab left. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. That was number 3 for you. So who's your number 2?
It's me. I put myself at number 2. I'm feeling pretty dumb about the Jonathan Taylor thing now. Like it's not my smartest move. I could go into more detail, but like putting a 2nd round pick, I'm reading online about people who are like, yeah, I picked Jonathan Taylor up in the 7th round. I'm like, well, that would have been nice. 7th round, put 2nd round pick on him. I'm like, it could work out still. I don't think he's not going to hold out past week 6 because of the whole like accruing a year thing. Like if he holds out past week 6, but at the same time, everyone in this whole situation is an idiot. The Colts are an idiot for not offering him a contract or trading him. He's an idiot for like holding out all like everyone is losing in this. So I think I'm gonna be holding some dead weight, and it's not really gonna pay off. So that's gonna suck. So I'm really concerned.
You did this before, though, didn't you? Didn't you do this with Zeke like 2 years ago or something when he was suspended?
Did it with Michael Thomas. Did it with OBJ. I love the guys who could come back and be good later and then never do because they're always like in a contract dispute. So go figure.
Okay.
So I'm my bottom 2.
Okay, and then last, who's your last?
It's Dan. Dan's my bottom. So it goes.
Okay, who's your? So you're above you, and then your bottom 3.
It was, I think it was Cam, me, Dan. Yeah.
Okay.
Dan's the bottom, then me,
All
then
right.
Cam.
So we've got some consistency here. So who have we not talked about? We haven't talked about Dad here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty mid-tier team, I think. I mean, what do you guys? Anything that stands out?
I would say a solid team. Not a big fan of the running backs.
He's big on Saquon for some reason. He hasn't been scarred on the Saquon like I have. Cam Akers, I don't like Cam Akers at all. His bench, I mean, he did get Montgomery potentially, and then I'm not mad at Deontay Johnson if they can figure it out in Pittsburgh. But Pickett kind of seems to go to like the Pickens and then the other guy more than Johnson. He went with the rookie because Sky Moore's the rookie, right?
Yeah. Second year now.
Second year, and they connected a little bit. But like we said with Mahomes, he can really go to anyone. He went with the old man, and then the second. I mean, like it's just solid. You know what I mean? It's like no one stands out really to me. Yeah. He went with a 2 defense.
He can't
come on, Dad.
Pittsburgh's sitting out there. He's got it. You know.
I thought we were past this in the league. Gosh, this is the worst when you're looking for a defense and you can't find anything, and you look on someone's bench, and there's 2 defenses. Oh, I should put them on my bottom tier just for that. That's the worst. But all right, anything else to add about Dad's team?
Nope.
Okay. All right, we didn't talk about Derek's team. Was the only other team we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
Let's take a peek at this one.
I think he's got.
I actually really like his team. Yeah, go ahead.
I think he's got a really solid team. I think he'll finish top half for sure. I think his bench maybe is what I'm not big on. Laporta, Thielen, DJ Chark, Brandon Cooks, Pacheco's fine. Classic Young Ho. But yeah, I mean the Justin Fields pick could be awesome. Mark Cooper, sure. Pickens, maybe a beast. Addison, maybe a beast. Then the New England defense always finds a way to be solid. But yeah.
There's some real up and down in there. Like this, it's kind of this one feels like you could really go big or bust big.
Yeah, I really like Amari Cooper. I mean, again, like the whole Watson thing, before Watson was there, Amari Cooper was like getting 2 touchdowns a game. Like he was popping off. I had him and I really liked it. And I like the Pickens pick too. I think this guy is like probably the best incoming person just because, I mean, you got to think of like kind of like the Jamar Higgins situation. I mean, he's going to get balls in the end zone if he actually does well. He stays on that Josh Jacob, man. He rides that Josh Jacob train. And I understand why. Like, and then he goes Najee like every year. And Najee always does bad for the first half and then kind of goes like good the second half. So I really don't know what to say. Like, but they have that rookie that's really good. So that's a potential risk there. And then how do you feel about Brandon Cooks on because he's on Dallas now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels
is
like
he gonna get the ball?
You know, Dallas is a new offensive coordinator now. I don't know. I don't know what to think about Dallas offense. I have no idea where it's gonna go. I mean, like they got rid of Kellen Moore, so I mean, I want to say Mike McCarthy's calling plays now. So who knows what's gonna be going on down there? I mean, like could be whatever.
All right, well, we'll wrap up here because I know we're at the top of the hour. It's been longer than we thought. So any closing we'll go around and do our closing statements. Cam, why don't you start?
It'll be a fun season. Looking forward to it. Not looking forward to playing Jared week 1. Hoping for a little magic to get me through.
Okay. Madison, what you got?
I'm streaming a kicker week 1. I might be streaming kickers throughout the season. I'm testing a new theory. Kickers are more important than you think.
Yeah, I like it. I want to take a moment just to say, Uncle Joe, this is not your season. I've sat there. I had a terrible team 2 years in a row, and you sat there and you relentlessly didn't take your. Even when I wasn't in the league, you relentlessly put me down. And it's going to be so sweet to win against you with Lamar and watch you get relegated while I have Lamar. That's all I have to say. End it right there. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys coming out. Have a great night. All right.
See ya.
See y'all.
Peace.